It's what's in your wallet.
I'm so old.
I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5 explosive hot dog carts.
Ritualistic blood magic.
Laser shooting chesty statues.
Don't watch movies unless we tell you to. Gee Willikers, welcome to Movies with My Best Friend Phil, a podcast where we watch a movie with a friend and tell a joke at the end. I'm Phil, the Bee's Knees Kessel, joined as always by two of my best pals.
I thought he was just an idiot.
Well.
One of them, Will Flip-a-Lid Jodas.
Hey, that's me. I flipped my lid.
And
That's
good
actually-
old, come on, Snake, let's rattle, Norlin.
You didn't say Craig.
You don't have a first name in this fiction
okay.
that I've made.
Yeah,
Yes.
your first name is Snake.
Also, one of you was going to be lasers flying at my asshole. So you guys should just count your lucky stars if that's what we ended up with.
Is that a 50s slang?
No, that was from my tirade at the beginning of the movie when you guys were being really mean.
Oh. Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Guys, it is...
Mm-hmm.
It's been warm. It's summer.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
for realsy summer now.
Yeah, well,
And-
technically no.
Well, okay. Yeah, I guess if we want to follow the seasons like some pagan or something. But we're God-fearing Christian folk.
True. Well, I do think I think we've been both June and September have got like say June, September, and December have got great
All the
PR.
burrs.
June, but because they're all like June's like, hey, summer's here, but it's not, still spring, and then September's like, fall's here, it's not, still summer, and then December's like, hey, we're winter, nope, we're still fall, tricked ya. So that's why I don't know. So yeah.
Wait, when does winter start?
It's like the
December 21st.
December
okay.
21st.
All right. So like at the end.
It's
that's
like
what I
basically
thought.
over.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, it's warm. It's been sunny.
Yeah.
Jack and I have a fence now in our backyard. We're very excited about it. It widens our yard, which is funny because it feels like it should make it smaller, but it widens it and it feels bigger.
Mm.
And it's just really great. We spent like the whole day out there last weekend, Saturday.
You gonna paint that thing?
No, but
Paint it more white.
we were warned.
Yeah.
And by warned, I mean, I guess Jack thought of this beforehand. I had no idea until our neighbor was like, yeah, somebody might tag it, but I'm sure it'll be fine. And I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
That wasn't even in my brain when we were deciding to get a giant white fence.
Yeah.
The guy's like, oh, yeah, somebody might spray paint on it. I was like, we've seen zero spray paint on houses.
Yeah.
We see it on like Transformers and like government things,
Oh my
like
God.
post office boxes.
There are Transformers in Ipsy?
They are.
Well,
There are a few.
yeah. We
Like,
killed Optimus Prime in Detroit and moved him here. Do you not remember that from the movie?
oh, that's right. Okay.
He's buried under the library. That's why the library was closed.
Okay, so are we Decepticons now? Is that what's happening?
We always have been.
Yeah.
Have you seen history?
Yeah.
Anyways, they graffiti government things, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Also, it reminds me, do you guys ever pick up your dog's poop when you're walking the dog?
Sure.
And you're walking by the post office, and you have this overwhelming urge to just toss it up onto the roof of the post office?
Post office? Yeah.
Every single night I walk
the
Fitz.
post office are nice people who deliver
I
your
know
mail.
that. I just want to throw a bag of poop on the roof. And it seems like a good roof to do it.
Couldn't you, like...
There's a delinquent in me that didn't get to delinquent when I was younger.
That's it. That is it.
Isn't
That's
it?
your energy.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question. If let's say, hypothetically, if you went to Washington, D.C., and you went up as close as you could get to the White House...
Would I throw a bag of poop?
And could you throw a bag of poop and not get in trouble? I feel like if you threw anything over the
A
fence.
sniper would shoot
I
it
think
straight
you'd
out
get
of the
shot.
air.
Yeah.
And
In
just
this economy,
shit flying everywhere.
yeah, it hit the bag of poop and then hit you.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you didn't die of the bullet, you'd die of poop infection.
Yeah, have you ever seen like videos of like weirdos running towards the fence and like trying to climb it?
Like
Ooh,
Naruto
no.
style.
No, like just at the White House. It happens more than you think because people are, mentally ill
Yeah.
and we don't do anything about them. So they like will run and start to climb up it. And if you're watching the building, the White House, like snipers will just come running from all sides and just like appear. And it's very
'cause
terrifying.
So if you threw a bag of poop, there's no way they'd know that it isn't
No.
a bomb.
No.
So you'd get shot.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea.
Would I still try it? Realistically, obviously no. But like, I'd like to think I'd throw a bag of poop at the White House
Yeah.
as a statement. But I'm not cool enough nor brave enough to make a statement. Mostly the second one.
Yeah,
I think I'm cool enough to
when
make
you
the
showed me a
statement.
picture of your fence, my first thought was, I want color on that.
It would be really fun.
I was like, I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna draw a bunch of doodles, and then I'm gonna make it seem like your neighbors did it.
Would you?
Shoot!
Would
Just gave it away.
Okay, two things. One, would you put that Gengar on my fence? I would love your Gengar on my fence.
I mean, you can. I think you could. I could probably have it be a sticker. I mean, it's a sticker already, but yeah.
Oh, I want big.
You want a
though.
big
like
one,
a
yeah, big
full
Gengar.
8 foot, like by 6
Yeah,
foot
and it just
fence
says
piece.
it just says howdy neighbor.
Yeah. I feel
Just
like my
facing
neighbors
your
would hate
neighbor
it.
who never leaves his porch.
We were eating dinner in the backyard last night.
Brag.
Yeah, we're very don't have kidsy. But we were eating in the backyard, and all of a sudden over the fence, because it's tall enough that we can't really see anything.
Mm-hmm.
But over the fence we hear like a yep, we're going back there. Yep. And like, or like something like that, like clearly talking into a walkie-talkie, it's a cop. And we looked at each other, we're like, is that a cop? Should we like go inside? What's happening right now? And I went over to the fence and I saw the cop car was right outside our driveway. Like they had parked on our driveway, basically.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Because then I see another cop car like 30 feet further down the road. And I'm like, what is happening right now?
There's a fence here we didn't know about.
We didn't. Well, so when we put it up, one of the neighbors, he didn't make a complaint, but he let us know that he didn't. He was concerned about pulling out of the driveway because what if he hits a kid walking over the sidewalk? And I wasn't there, and part of me is like, I'm kind of glad I wasn't, because I feel like I would have just been like, well, don't do that. Don't drive bad, because I saw the fence. I've seen the fence from your driveway. You wouldn't hit a kid unless you were blindly speeding out of your driveway. So don't drive bad. Anyways, so it turns out
People don't like change.
People
He was
don't like
just
change.
complaining.
It's fine. And he hasn't made a deal. He was honking really loudly when it first came in, when he was leaving his driveway, to like make sure he didn't hit anyone. So like, I guess he's not being an asshole. He genuinely is concerned he's going to hit somebody.
Yeah.
So that's fair, I guess. But I guess it was just kids with like a toy gun. And that's what the cops were
cool.
chasing.
And the cops were there. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were chasing him down the alley.
That's neat. That's not
They're
concerning
good
at all.
at de-escalation.
Yeah, that's not a problem. at all.
Yeah.
I don't worry about the fact that my kid picks up everything that is slightly gun shaped and goes pew 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 to passing cars.
Yeah.
That's not something that terrifies me.
Yeah.
And I then scare him.
When I say kids, that was the information I got from my neighbor, who is like,
yeah, it was
70.
Yeah, so it was. Well, if he called them kids, they may have been white. If he said a bunch of adults.
Oh, so he hasn't. I specifically like talking to him about the fence. I was waiting for code words to know, like, is this guy not cool? Is this guy a bad guy? Do I want to like distance myself? He said none of the like code words that I was expecting an older white man to say.
Yeah.
He also is like.
He didn't say anything like, you know the type, right?
I honestly thought he was going to say thugs at one point, and he just said kids. And I was like, oh,
okay.
Okay. Let's, all right, cool. He also is like former felon with like most of his teeth gone and sits on his porch all day.
Yeah, he's probably hard to stereotype. Sounds like.
Yeah, I could not get a read on him. I still can't get a read on him. But he did say that he pointed the cops in the direction of the kids, and I was like,
yeah, I wouldn't have done that.
I wouldn't have done that, bud. The cops don't need your help.
Yeah.
Let them not find people.
I'm sure they didn't even ask him. He volunteered that information.
He did. He 100% did. Because he told me he did. And I was like,
So speaking of cops, oftentimes when you meet cops, you know, they say something. There's like a saying, a thing that they say, and when they
get
come
on the
to your
ground,
car,
he's not complying.
The second,
not that one.
The second most common thing they say.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you know how fast you were going?
Yeah. After that, it's part of the same sort of statement.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Yep. Yes. Yep. Hello. And then they say, hello, what's in your wallet?
Officer, I'm reaching for my wallet.
And then I say, my name's not what's in your wallet, it's Phil.
Yes. That's right. It's time for
And
the
I
segment
was
where we
going the
reach deep
speed
into our
limit.
best friend's pants and
You
rip out some
ass.
recommendations. Phil,
Sorry.
you got to let me do it when we get to the wallet. All right? We've been doing this almost 5 years
I'm
now.
fired up tonight because I'm facing you guys directly, and this is a different vibe.
The vibe is off. We're comfy and you're not.
I'm more comfy than I normally am.
Yeah, that's the way you have to sit on that couch is not comfy.
Yeah, that's why I'm not as funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Whip out some recommendations. It's what's in your wallet.
Yeah.
There's too much between those.
Hey, Craig. Phil talked a lot. It's your turn.
Yeah, it's my turn to talk a lot.
What's in your wallet there, buddy?
I don't really have anything because
who are you, me?
Yeah. I'm living in my in-laws' basement right now.
Yes.
And so I can't watch movies.
No?
Or TV shows.
Yeah.
Are you listening to jazz records though?
Nope. Not listening to jazz records.
Really disappointing, actually. You've got a delicious collection of jazz on the wall.
I do.
You've been there? I haven't been there. Yeah.
I'll tell you, Phil, that I have been trying to convince him to leave his collection to you one day.
I love that.
It's not working so far.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. He's got children.
Yeah, I'm going to leave this to
no. It is to like his best friend who's also a jazz person. Oh my God,
that's even better.
But it's his daughter who's actually a musician and who probably has most of he's like, oh, she probably has most of these already. I'm like, okay. So I'm pulling for you someday.
That's all right. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I just been working on a stupid possession list, so I haven't been doing much. But one purchase we made prior to the incident, we'll just call it that, is I had pre-ordered the Switch 2.
Yeah.
And so that came, and we don't have any games for it.
You don't. What happened to me? There I am. Oh, it's too loud. Okay, great. Got to make a note to edit that out. Well, you didn't get the one game that is out on the Switch too?
No, because I didn't pre-order that with Walmart. I did it through Target, and so it was a week late. So, and they're like, it's coming today. And then it's like, I guess it's coming tomorrow. So I don't know if they're going to deliver or not, because every time a delivery person sees what's left of my house, they drive away.
That is
even I have all these signs that say, please deliver next door, and they all ignore it. So,
what a pain.
Yeah. Pete's having fun with it. I did buy the thing that should have been given with it, like Wii Sports. It's called Welcome Tour. And basically it's just teaching you how to, the new aspects of it, but gamifying it, like a less fun version of Astrobot, if anyone's played those games. But yeah, it's like scavenger hunt, mini games, that sort of stuff. But I haven't really been able to do much with it myself. So, but I'll just mention my kids seem to like it.
I'm assuming it plays regular Switch games as well.
Yes, I did download.
Do you want to borrow my Switch games? because I don't know where my Switch is. It's in a box somewhere. So until I find it, they are useless to me.
Okay.
Okay.
We have the ones that I had digitally.
Okay.
So I mean, we do have
Right.
games
Rad.
to play.
Rad.
But I did get the Castlevania Advance.
Nice.
Um,
You probably
collection.
also have the. Wait, have they released any? Because I know part of what they're going to be doing with the Nintendo Switch Online is the GameCube. Has any of that come out yet? Or no?
Yeah. So I'm sorry. The first thing I did, I literally booted up the GameCube thing because I knew Soul Calibur 2 was on there.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
I picked my main, which is Talim.
Okay.
Yeah, of
And
course.
I beat the game in under 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Even with, I'm just like, the controls feel weird.
I can imagine.
The controls feel a little strange.
It seems too big for my tastes. But I'll probably change my mind if I get my hands on one. The only reason why I haven't tried to get one right now, because I love my Switch,
yeah.
is because it doesn't have any games on it right now, and I'm not an early adopter of new tech, because every time I'm always like, yeah, but what if it sucks?
Yeah, I mean, I
if it's
have
bad?
lucked out because
Yeah.
I skipped the PS3.
Yes.
And
Well,
I
that one was
skipped-
way too expensive.
Yeah,
wasn't
that
it?
was way too expensive. And then I skipped the Wii U,
Yeah.
and they ended up porting almost all those games.
Yeah. So that's the thing, though. Nintendo has a good system and then a bad system, and then a good system and a bad system.
Yeah.
So the Switch 2 is technically their bad system,
Yeah.
which is also why I was like,
What I've been hearing so far is people love Mario Kart
yeah,
because it's pretty goofy, which is what people want.
of course.
Goofy's in
And
it?
then, yes, I wish.
Well, and the Switch didn't get a Mario
I'm gonna
Kart.
blue shell your ass.
I know a lot. Honestly, the Switch got less non-remakes, non-remasters.
Yeah, and even technically, the Switch didn't get a proper Zelda because
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild was made for the Wii U, and then Tears of the Kingdom is made for the Switch, but it was almost like a carbon copy in a weird way.
Yeah, it's a little strange.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. What's that about?
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, what's
let's
that
figure-
about, Greg Nintendo?
Yeah, let's go get him. Let's go get him and
But
tickle his little toes.
I forget. There's only 3 games for the GameCube on there right now. I forget what
Oh.
the first one
I
is.
hate how they do
Oh,
that.
is it
Just
Time
release
Splitters
them all,
2?
damn it.
It's not. Oh, I would have played that instantly.
Yeah, I would have been over there playing that.
I did get that for PS5.
Is it the
which I don't have anymore.
Is it the Star Fox
Yeah.
Dinosaur Island game?
God no.
Is it Yoshi Cookie Island?
One of them, shut the fuck up, is Wind Waker.
Oh, that's awesome.
okay.
But it's not
The
the
HD.
newer
Yeah,
one
it's
where they
something.
chopped a lot of the excess sailing. But I went through a phase when I had gotten a GameCube way after the fact. It was my brother-in-law was working at Sears, and there was one of the
Whoa,
units they
age
had.
yourself
I know.
Was
It
he
was-
also working at Circuit City?
Oh my god.
Steve worked at Circuit City.
Yeah.
He hated it.
But it was one of those they had used it for the
I
display.
feel like it'd be weirder if he liked it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead. It was one they used for the display.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a GameCube display model, and so it worked fine.
Yeah.
And I started. I only played it for a little bit, and then years after the Wii came out, I got that.
Did it come with a big cardboard thing that it sat in that said
I wish.
Nintendo GameCube?
Yeah, I couldn't actually get to it,
You
so I
couldn't-
only
It's
played
behind a
demos.
plastic thing.
Yeah, you can't get it out of demo mode. You
Yeah.
play the first level of every game and it shuts off.
Oh,
I think I-
love Time Splitters too. You know the intro?
Yeah,
I like that part.
yeah,
I think I got ripped off, guys.
yeah. But I went through and I tried to play all the mainline GameCube games like Luigi's Mansion.
Nice.
Metroid.
I tried playing Metroid Prime 3 times. I even got the remastered one because I'm like, this time, and I never even tried it this time. But I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, that's. I feel like I've heard that. I've not played. I've seen it played a little bit. But
Yeah.
Chaz played it, and I watched him play it a little bit. But that's it. But there's a new one coming out, right? A new Metroid.
Yeah, the 4th one.
Yeah.
But I played Wind Waker as part of that group of GameCube games, and I loved it. It became my favorite Zelda game. I think it still is, honestly.
Yeah.
I really love Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but for like that classic Zelda.
Yeah, I think mine was that your first one that you owned, or did you have Ocarina?
That was the first one I played and finished since the first game. I never really played Ocarina. I tried. That's another one I played.
You mean the first one, like the
NES one?
Wow. Yeah. Okay, that one is rough go.
That was the first game I finished.
Yeah.
That was the very first game I finished. One of the few on the NES because they're all terribly hard.
Yeah. I think Ocarina of Time was the first game that I finished.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just, for some reason,
in general,
another one of those, I've started like 5 times. I'm like, this time I'm going to do it. And I always get distracted and I stop. I've never even tried Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask is I think, is definitely as a replay better than Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time, like so many games, so many other Zelda games have like reiterated on and like are like iterations on that. So if you've played Twilight Princess or, you know, even Breath of the Wild, playing Ocarina of Time is sort of like, because any game on the Nintendo 64 was like, we don't know how cameras work. So it's still really clunky to play. Or controllers at all.
It's a video game system designed by an alien with 3 arms and no eyes.
But Majora's Mask is interesting because it has like a roguelite element to it.
Yeah.
Where like
Which
the time
freaked
reset.
me out.
Yes, yeah. As a kid, it was it was like, I'm like, this is too stressful.
Yeah.
But as an adult, I'm like, I can handle this.
That's
I'm not
why
a child
I didn't
anymore.
like Dream Drop Distance.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
It
that
freaked me out. I was like, oh, no, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Sorry, Quasimodo. I'm not going to help you.
Yeah. That yes. That game is frustrating because, well, that game is so for those of you who don't know, it's a Kingdom Hearts game where you play as both Sora and Riku.
Didn't you just talk about this last week?
I did a little bit.
Okay.
And it basically has a timer where you just jump. So you'll be running around, you'll jump to the next one. But the thing that's insane about it is you're both in the same world, but like the story is different. So like if you're playing the track as Riku, the story that's happening is similar to the story that Sora is playing, but it's different. It's not like in Birth by Sleep where like, you know, if you play Aqua's story, it's like you play Terra's story and you get a little bit of it and then you go do something else. And then when you go as Ventus, you play a little bit of it and then you do something else. You know what I mean? It's like, so you're jumping from one character to the other in the middle of like the same story, but different. It's like, I haven't a clue what's happening.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
That game is a mess of, it is the worst storytelling in a series that has atrocious storytelling.
But I will say the opening like cinematic for it is fucking awesome.
It's the best one. Yeah. Anywho, that's not what's in my wallet though. Wait, is that all that's in your wallet? Do you have any more?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just rambling about stuff. Nintendo.
I'll go next because I was going to talk about Dream Drop Distance because I was playing it recently, but then I was like, I kind of don't want to. Like the first time I played it, I was like, I don't know what everybody's talking about. This game is incredible. And then I'm playing it on the replay and I'm like, I know what everybody's talking about. This game is not that good. So I got bored. And so, but I'm going to talk about I've been listening to a podcast. Yes. So a couple weeks ago, Phil and I went and saw Glass Cannon live.
Yeah.
And you guys look like you had a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was very cool.
Did you see the great pictures we took?
Yeah.
Yes.
They were great.
Yeah, we did a meet and greet, and I was like, Phil was like, we got a VIP pass. I'm like, that's awesome. What does that mean? You're like, it's a meet and greet. I'm like, wait, what does that mean? It's like, that means we're going to meet and talk to them. I'm like,
oh no,
I don't want to do that at all.
You had no choice.
But it turned out to be good. The beer helped.
Yeah.
And you just go up and then of course I was like, once if we don't know what to talk about, it's like, well, they kind of know what to do. You know, they kind of know to like kind of get the conversation started. Anyways, so that got me on an actual play. So Glass Cannon is a podcast where they play a tabletop RPG. They play Pathfinder, which is basically D&D, but different. So I have been listening to a podcast that is a part of the Glass Cannon network called Haunted City, where they're playing a game called Blades in the Dark.
Knives in the light.
Knives in the light.
You said a lot of names there,
Yes.
and I don't know what's happening.
So Haunted City is the name of the podcast.
Yep.
And they are playing a game called Blades in the Dark.
And this is still Glass Cannon?
It's a part of the network. It really
Glass
doesn't matter.
Cannon presents.
It's sort of like how, HeadGum is a podcast network.
Okay, great.
Do you know what HeadGum? What podcast do you listen to?
I listen to
Do you know
many.
Earwolf?
Yes, I know Earwolf.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Anyways, HeadGum does.
No.
I thought you listened to
HeadGum.
Doughboys.
Honestly, I don't know if I've ever listened to them. I've just heard them as guests on other people's podcasts.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes
Yeah.
sense then. Anyways, boop, boop. But so I really like the podcast. I like the story that they're telling. What's cool about the game that they're playing is it seems like it's so you play as like bad guys and you do heists, right? So like you'll be like, we're gonna steal this jewel in this mansion, and instead of doing like a bunch of planning, you basically just start the heist. So like the thing that's fun about actual play podcasts where they play this game is it's improvised. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there is some storytelling, but it's all these characters, like the people on the fly sort of coming up with things. So it mixes my favorite things, which is, improv, usually a lot of comedy, video game mechanics, you know what I mean? And then like a bunch of people who are friends just kind of joking around. Which is why I like podcasts where you just like plug it in. You don't have to like listen super intently. But what's cool about it is in the game's mechanics, it has like flashbacks. So like you'll be doing a heist and like something will go wrong, right? You'll be like, oh no, we're in a cage now. Or like we're stuck in a vault. Do we know the combination? And you can like, your character can have a flashback to a time earlier when you figured out a solution to this problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like it costs your character stress and stuff. So it sort of plays out like it's a cheesy heist movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, so like, it's like sort of playing up those tropes. Even the equipment you bring, you'll be like, are you bringing a lot of equipment or a little of equipment? You don't pick the exact items you bring. So then like something will happen and you'll be like, I pull out my this. And it's like the exact right item you need for this moment.
My
wiener. Yeah. Yes, exactly. That's almost never the case. But anyways.
Almost.
So it seems
Almost
like,
is
so, and it's all,
horseshoes.
it takes place in a very, the world seems very similar to like Dishonored, where it's like dark and there's like dead people and black magic and things and ghosts and things. And it's interesting because like a lot of the times with D&D, you make up the story as you like the world sort of like D&D has a lot of worlds already created, but like you can kind of mix and match or make up your own things. This game takes place in a very, very specific. This recommendation is only for Phil and my brother Mike.
Yeah.
It takes place in a very, very specific world. So the GM like sort of doesn't have to do a lot of preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Like your characters will just be like, hey, we want to go steal something. And he can just be like, okay, well, this is a mansion nearby that the book just has. Let's go there. You know what I mean? And so, and the other thing I liked about it is you get to build a like a lair, like your characters like have like a home base. And then you can upgrade that, and you can also like meet NPCs that like join, sort of like are on the peripheral. It just reminds, it's like, to me, it's like the perfect bridge between a video game or like a board game and D&D, right? Because I feel like D&D can be very overwhelming with the sense of options and like all the different character, but this one's a little bit more like contained to this one small world. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, and you can kind of do whatever you want, but what you want to do is usually just like get a bunch of money. You know what I mean? Like your character motivations are
just like real life. Hustle that grind.
Yeah, but
baby.
I mean, like in the game, you are a bad guy. You are a person who is
just like real
stuff.
life.
Yeah.
Hustle that grind.
So Yeah, I don't know. Haunted City. If you like actual play podcasts, again, Mike or Phil,
or if you just want to try one out.
Yeah.
I do. We've talked about this. I do feel like Glass Cannon is a really good one to like jump into because
yes. Well, it's Glass Cannon, the podcast, this is where it gets confusing, Craig. Keep up. Yeah, there'll be a test later.
Okay.
The network is named after the flagship podcast called the Glass Cannon.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good place to jump in.
Oh, no. I just meant
yeah.
like the network.
The network is
generally has really good and they have a lot of shorter ones too. They have a whole thing that's New Game Who Dis.
Yeah.
And they'll do like a random game that they've either never played or like one of them has played.
Yeah.
And they'll bring it to the table and like 4 or 5 of them will play this game and they'll just do like a quick
that's how Getting the Trunk
episode.
started.
Yeah.
So like the first episode is like 3 hours long and is a self-contained story and almost feels like the first season, even though it's not.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's interesting is one of the guys who does a character on it I was like listening to him talk and he's got this really like awesome, deep voice. And I was like, God, this sounds so familiar. And he's Bayek, the main character in Assassin's Creed Origins. And I was like, why do I know this voice? Yeah. Anyways, and what's the guy you like? Ross he's also in.
Yeah, he's in a lot of Dropout content. Ross Bryant.
Yeah, he's in this. Yeah. Anyways, that's Phil. What do you got?
I watched a movie.
No way.
And it was spooky.
A whole one or a half one?
And Craig and I already talked about it a little bit. Very, very recently, as in right before this podcast.
There's no reason to talk about it now.
Well, yeah, but I need to explain to other people that they should watch this if they like spooky movies. But honestly, I'm pretty late to the game. This is Barbarian. Came out 2022. Incredible. Takes place in Detroit, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta love a Detroit movie. Except for this is a kind of terrifying, very upsetting movie to watch. I'm not going to give any details because I had no details going in, and I think it makes the experience way, way better. It's just a very well-made horror movie. It's freaky. It's silly at times. It catches you by surprise, and I don't just mean jump scares. Like, it has some jumpier parts, but it catches you by surprise with a lot of the plot points.
You will get whiplash.
You will get whiplash for sure, but in like a way where you're like, ooh, I kind of like that whiplash.
Yeah.
Give me more of that whiplash, Justin Long.
I'm not going to
often
sue.
saying that.
Give me more of that whiplash, Justin Long.
Yeah, those exact words.
Yeah. You say it. That's how we end every podcast.
Stop saying my tattoo back to me. Anyways.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix. I watched it on Netflix, so it is quite available.
So famously, by weirdos like me, this does not have a physical release at all. So you can only watch the streaming. Yeah, it's one of those unfortunate Disney side things where like Prey, it took a long time for them to release Prey. And so they're still trying to get this one released in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, right now you can only own it digitally or rent it. So
yeah, it's worth watching on Netflix if you're already paying for a Netflix.
Yep.
It's also would be worth renting because this movie was incredible and super freaky and real messed up. And I watched it and I was just like, damn, I gotta sit for a minute because
I wish you watched it with me. Oh,
this was a wild ride.
Yeah.
I cannot recommend this movie enough.
You should also watch it in the dark.
Yeah, that would have been much better. I watched it in the middle of the day.
Yeah, no.
Which it does not help horror movies. They should be watched at night in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
I don't always have that opportunity. I got to take what I can.
Yeah.
When I can take it.
And like the best horror movies, it takes your expectations consistently.
Eats them up.
Just eats them up.
Just eats them right up.
Speaking of eating up your expectations, we watched a movie. So we watched Monstrous, which is a 2022 American supernatural thriller film directed by Sivertson. Sivertson?
Sivertson.
I want to say it's Silverton, but it is not. Sivertson.
We'll get it someday.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll keep trying it every episode.
And it's written by Carol Crest. It's starring Christina Ricci, Colleen Camp, Lou Temple, Nick Valanoga. I don't know how much how much of a budget this had or how much money it made because it's a streaming movie and they hide those things.
Yeah.
So it's 88 minutes long. We saw what it was on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh,
because
I thought you were going to ask and then I was going to get it right.
I'm going to ask you guys, how do you think this is sitting on the audience score?
Ooh.
So for the listeners, we saw that it was a 55 critic score. So I'm going to ask how you guys thought it was sitting on the audience score. Phil.
63.
Craig.
52.
So I don't think this has ever happened before, but Phil got it exactly correct.
Whoa.
Yes. I am a god.
What did you say, Craig?
52?
52. No, they liked it better than the critics did. So
I think that's why I picked it, because I was looking it up. I didn't see the audience score, but I was seeing reviews on Reddit that were like, "Oh, this is a gem. This is pretty good." And so I was like, "Oh, cool. We'll watch this one."
I don't think the audience scores can be taken seriously anymore. I think they've all got some sort of, it always feels like the people who make reviews have an agenda, and that agenda is anti-establishment. So they're just going, "Oh, you don't like it? Well, I did." You know?
Yeah.
Anywho, so before we get into it, I feel like I'm going to say that we've forgotten about the sippy cup full of milk behind the entertainment system, and we are in spoiler town because I don't know how to talk about this movie without talking about the ending. It's So if you're interested in watching this at all, watch it now, because we're going to spoil it probably immediately, because there's no way.
In the next 5 seconds.
5 seconds. So anyways, Phil, you picked this movie.
Yeah.
Why?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
You guys were so mad at me. Okay, so I had a lot of options with the last movie. I wanted to do the thing I do, which is a bit of a wild card pick. This was a movie that I had never even heard of. That's okay. Don't look at me like that absolutely means it's a bad thing. A bad movie. It doesn't mean it's a bad movie just because I haven't heard of it. It has all the ingredients if you're just looking at like a brief synopsis and like the people who are in it and like the look of like a trailer. It has all the ingredients of being good. So I was like, okay, I'll pick this movie and maybe it'll be like a fun little horror gem. And you guys were, I do want to say, you guys were very mean immediately.
So
you guys went into riff tracks mode.
Yeah.
Literally with the first production company that was named.
To be fair,
it was the first of 7.
It was the first of 7, and the production company was Chicken Soup for the Soul.
That's fair.
I didn't know.
I didn't know they were doing movies.
I didn't know they were doing movies.
And I didn't know that was this, because I don't think it's mentioned on the Wikipedia page.
I am shocked that it exists at all. Like, that it still exists.
My heart sank so much when I saw that I was just like, oh, I picked a dud. And then you guys were unrelenting for the first 40 minutes of this movie.
Well, so if anyone doesn't know, Chicken Soup for the Soul,
I guess some people might not know this.
The media group decided that they were going to buy Redbox a couple years back. And so this would have been probably a Redbox of like straight to Redbox release.
Yeah.
A couple years ago. And then who'd have thunk this was a bad investment to get Redbox when it was already dying. And so if you've noticed, there are no more Redboxes.
If you think about it, Chicken Soup for the Soul, you only do that when you're sick and or dying spiritually.
It's true.
So it's kind of their bread and butter or their soup and butter to do this type of thing, buy a company when it's dying and then die with it, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll give a one word sort of review of this movie and then we'll go into your guys' thoughts. Disappointed. Craig, I feel like I need a buffer between me and Will.
Okay.
Even though we probably both felt the same. I just feel like sometimes,
here's the problem.
Unless you're going to be meaner than Will on this one.
I don't know. Okay.
No.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You're usually the
Will's
mean one.
mean.
I wouldn't say mean. I have discerning tastes, you know? Like I'm opinionated.
Discerning
God.
about there's a better joke somewhere. Discerning you discern being a jerk.
Nailed it.
Yep. This is man. I don't want to be mean. It's just
you can be mean. This movie wasn't very good.
It was not good because I unfortunately guessed every single twist.
Yes.
Yeah, it
within
was
a minute.
honestly like a little remarkable. I did not I didn't expect this to spoiler alert. I didn't expect this to be a he was dead the whole time movie.
Yeah.
And within I don't know, the first scene with the child in it, you were like, "Oh, he's dead."
Well, yeah.
Well, she says, "Oh, he's buried back there." Like
Yeah.
It's a weird way of saying it. I'm like, "Oh, he's dead."
It's fair, yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, they just winked too hard."
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's fair.
Yes. Okay. So I didn't like this movie. I'm not mad at this movie though. I'm not angry with it.
I'm mad, but only because I feel like I tricked myself.
Yeah.
It's lazy. It's just a very lazy movie.
I wouldn't even say it's lazy.
It feels like you said it.
What?
It feels like a first draft.
Yeah, I think I turned to Craig and I was like, I feel like I can see this script. Like I'm reading along with this script. Like there's no other extra bits happening. So truly that is, I think, the biggest problem with this movie is that I think it was finely acted by at least Christina Ricci.
Yeah.
It was pretty well shot. I thought it looked pretty good for what it was, other than the day for night stuff. But I don't blame cinematographers for doing that because it's always a budget reason why you do that.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with Anyways, but like so. The problem with this movie is that it has all it is the twist. That's it. I know nothing about any of these characters, right? Christina Ricci's character is defined by the fact that her son is dead. And there's no B story. Oops. There's no B story in this. There's no C story. There's no metaphor. It is just so it's one dimensional. That is really the thing. And like the thing is movies. Okay. So I think somebody else said it, but it's very M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
And the reason why M. Night Shyamalan hasn't made another big twist movie that works is because he doesn't know what worked about The Sixth Sense. And so I'm going to spoil that movie for anybody. But the whole thing of Bruce Willis being dead the whole time, the reason why that worked is because you're not paying attention to Bruce Willis. You're paying attention to Haley Joel Osment's character. Yeah. Haley Joel Osment sees dead people. That's the story.
Yeah.
And then when you get the twist at the end, you're like, oh, you weren't expecting it because you weren't looking at Bruce Willis's character at all.
Yeah, it's the misdirection.
Yeah, it's exactly. I was going to say this is a magic trick where they're saying like, watch my hand, and they're doing the trick in the hand that you're watching, and you're like, I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
because this movie, something is wrong. So this movie is about a mom who who's moving away from, I think, California or whatever. No, Nevada, doesn't matter. With her 7-year-old son, they buy a creepy old house, and almost immediately creepy stuff starts happening involving the pond out back, right? So the pond is like, but the whole time it's going like, something is wrong. So you're like trying to figure out what's wrong. And so like you're looking at it the whole time. So you're trying to guess what's wrong. And eventually one of your guesses is going to be, maybe none of this is happening because you've seen enough movies.
Yeah.
Maybe the kid is dead.
Yeah.
And so when it happens, you're sort of like, I guess I was kind of right. You know, you don't even feel like, oh, I'm right, because it doesn't like show you its hand. You know, that's another trick movies do, is they like give you just enough clues before the characters that you can then go like, oh, wait, I solved it. You know what I mean? And then you feel like a genius. This movie doesn't really show its hand either. It just like says like, did you see that coming? And you're like, kinda, but I knew it was. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't see it coming, but I also like knew it was coming, you know? And so I think it's a script issue. I think this movie has a bad script, or just an unrefined script. It is very much.
It's like a 90-minute movie, which is short these days. But it also, especially for horror, I feel like they try to do the misdirection a little bit. They don't succeed, but there's a couple of scenes where she is either getting a call from her husband, or the one scene where they actually talk. Yeah, and in those scenes, there's like it's
cryptic enough that you can kind of guess it, but not.
He's like,
you know, something is wrong.
I didn't mean to do this, and the mom talks to her later. Like the Christina Ricci's character's mom is talking to her at one point, and Christina Ricci's like, "Oh, you're supposed to be on our side." Yeah, and like it feels like there's something between Christina Ricci and the husband, but only for like a brief moment. Yeah, yeah. They don't delve. I feel like they didn't. If they had widened that a little bit. Yes. Well, so okay, I'm going to fully spoil the movie, which is Christina Ricci's character. You find out later that her son, who has been with us the whole movie, has been dead the whole time. And he died because the husband was watching him and he fell into the pool and drowned. So she blames the husband for being neglectful, and you know what I mean? So the movie kind of sets it up like her husband is like abusive or something. Yeah. When really also, she just can't forgive him for like being neglectful. The like tagline or plot that they put with the movie when it's like advertised is that she is escaping an abusive husband. Yeah. So like they just flat out they aren't like trying to trick you or entice you. They just flat out lie. The other twist is a little annoying. Yeah, the other twist this movie has, that's where I'm mad, maybe, is that it makes it seem like it's in the 50s the whole time. And Craig at one point was like, "Did they say what year it was?" And I was like, "No, they did not." You know, and you smelled that one coming very early.
It was as soon as she meets the old couple that rented the place. I'm like, No, I don't think this is. Yeah. Well, see,
this doesn't seem appropriate.
I was just like, no, Craig, there's no twist here. It's just bad art direction.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was correct.
But the thing is like, I don't understand. So, okay, there's a couple things. One, I don't understand like what shook her out of it. So the whole movie, she's been walking around, you know, pretending like her son is around. And then suddenly at one point she goes to go pick up her son. She can't find him, like, which I don't know why he wouldn't in her mind appear this time. My only guess is that she was drunk, I guess. Yeah. It didn't feel like enough. Not enough. This movie takes forever. It's somehow so short, but so long.
Well, because if he shows up, they wouldn't have a reason for the policeman to be there. And
well, but that's what I mean.
Have
like
the kid there, but while the policeman's there.
But that's you're. But like, why? What triggered her emotional? Like to like.
It's. I'm trying the order of things that happen. The night before that, is when she starts drinking. Yeah. And then she sees a like Salvador Dali, the world is melting shift. Yeah. In the house that she's staying in. Yeah. We find out later that that's what the house really looks like. Yeah. And that's when but I'm trying to think of, does she say something?
But it
seems like it just being her drinking
and getting too stressed out, I guess.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
But the thing is, so the other, like, so I know nothing about this character. You spend all this time with her, and all you know is that she really likes her kid. But you don't like know like what it like. You know what I mean? Like she has no
What
characteristics.
are her hopes and dreams?
What are her hopes and dreams? What does she want? What doesn't she want? She's like somebody who is so clearly in strict denial the whole time. So the tragedy of this movie, I don't know. I feel like there's a different movie where you're like sad to see the kid go. You know what I mean? Or something like that. You know, there's a way to tell this story because, but like you were like, when she's like, I don't want the boy to leave. I'm like, let him go. Jeez, that's the right thing to do. It doesn't feel tragic. You know what I mean? Because the boy is already dead. You know? To me, this feels like a movie that was written on a premise that didn't have any life experience behind it. A little bit. It kind of feels like a bunch of people going like sitting around and like kind of like trying to come up with the most heartbreaking thing they could come up with.
Yeah, it feels fast.
Yeah.
I'm
like it's like this was a night that like people got together and were like, let's write this movie.
Yeah.
Let's Mad Libs this movie.
Like if this would be a mid-tier Twilight Zone episode. Do you know what I mean? Like this is a pretty okay Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah.
I guarantee that this was everyone at Chicken Soup for the Soul was like, okay, we need to like beef up our output.
Yeah.
And so I need people to just give me ideas. Let's just crank these things out.
Yeah.
And lady's got a kid. She moves. Kid's actually dead. Boom. Roasted.
Boom.
Oh, you did it.
We need 7 other production companies.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. So yeah, it's not like it's like a bad movie. Like
it just
here's the thing.
very unfinished.
Christina Ricci is good.
Yeah,
like she's not a bad.
Fine in this.
I don't think she can be a bad actress, honestly. But I said partway through the movie, I'm like, she's only using like 10% of her powers.
Yeah,
like she doesn't need to.
But they so clearly like wrote this scene where it's like, and then they have fun together.
Yeah,
and so like they're just sort of sitting there like giggling at balloons, and I'm like, this isn't anything. This. You know what this is? This is a fucking Kingdom Hearts scene. That's what this is. This is like the weird moment in like Scooby-Doo where they all like laugh at the end and go like ha 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 ha. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you're like, okay, we don't need this part. And it's like.
But Will, did you feel it when she found the birthday invites in his backpack and then she like confronted him about it?
What do you mean by that? Like,
well, it's like. Because she finds the invites that for the birthday party, nobody showed up, and then she finds them, and so she's like, "You watched me do all this work,
yeah,
and you did not like you didn't say anything about it, like just having kids. Sometimes they're really frustrating."
No, see, I was on the other side of that because I had parents who were like, who would do things like that and be like, "You have to go out and put yourself out there," and I'd be like, "Mom, I don't want to do that." Because you don't understand the interpolitical workings of my 5th grade classroom and how much of a social faux pas it would be for me to do the thing that you're asking me to do. And I can't just do it and have a smiley, cheery face on Mom because I will embarrass myself. This isn't me digging on my mom or anything. But I was just, you know what I mean? Like, I definitely related to like the whole like, well, why don't you just, you know, if somebody is being mean to you, you just gotta be friends with them. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Kiss them on the mouth.
Like, what are you talking about? So like her like saying like, this is how you make friends is you go up and talk to people is like and I felt like that's like bad advice. You know?
Just the part of him like in this theoretic of him being alive and not handing out any of the invites after she went through all that effort. For sure. But I just that to me that's where I went like I was like, yeah, something is up. She's her whole personality is she's hyper fixating on a perfect world. Yeah. And that is not something I find very compelling in characters. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It is interesting that this is her image of her own son, and it's a very imperfect image. So I don't know.
It's interesting.
If she was imagining her son, why wouldn't she imagine him as having friends and being okay? Why is it that he's this fractured version?
Add that into the sort of drama of the drinking, which was like she had a shooter.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh no, this is going bad. She ended up having like 3, and it's like, sure, drinking can be really bad if you don't drink a lot, and then, you know, whatever. But if you're combining
she had
Craig's
3 shots of vodka.
But if you're combining Craig's thing with her maybe not actually knowing her son that well, and maybe her having a previous drinking problem, maybe there's more to this character that we just didn't get, that maybe she didn't, because there's when she like leaves at the beginning, or in the like flashback, she's like not at home and the husband is supposed to be watching the kid. I don't remember if it explains why she left, like why she was not in the house.
She apologized to him at the end, and so I don't know if maybe she was the one who actually.
Well, so I'm wondering if like there were deleted scenes.
When did she apologize to him?
Right before he leaves, she said, "I'm so sorry."
Oh.
That, you know, that this all happened. So I don't
to
know.
her son.
To her son.
To her son.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Not to the husband.
So,
I thought that's. Understood.
And so I wasn't sure if I'm like, maybe it was she was imagining that.
It's where like it would, to have a deleted scene or a couple of deleted scenes, a couple of pieces of the story where it reframes her as this whole thing is in her imagination, not just the son, but her in this situation. And the reason she kind of snaps out of it is because she goes back to her real self, which is somebody who's drinking too much.
Yeah, that would add at least another element to like hang on to.
Yeah, it doesn't fix the story.
Yeah.
But
I think that like and
there's something like that's missing. Because there's like you said, there's like this is such a slow,
but that's exactly
nothing happening movie.
But that's exactly what I mean by like I know nothing about this character.
Yeah,
and like she like at the end she gets into her car breaks down and she's like, I'm heading back to Tulsa or wherever, and it's like he's like, yep, you'll get her, and she gets in the car and I'm like, I haven't a clue what she's gonna do after this. Do you know what I mean? Like usually that scene is like, oh, they're finally going home or they're finally doing something. You know what I mean? And I'm like, is she going back to her? What is she? You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like
that's what's supposed to be happening,
right? But like it never. It like, but her forgiving her husband was like is like a whole other movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that is not even in this. I don't know. So it's just
unless it's not her forgiving her husband, it's her husband forgiving her.
Yeah, because she might have imagined those conversations that she was having.
And that's the thing, is that there's literally not enough to make anything other than conjecture.
Up a whole other movie.
We're making an entire other movie out of this because there's not enough for the 88 minutes or whatever that this movie is. There's not enough content to fill that, unfortunately.
It's not that the movie is like, it's not like you got an ambiguous ending where it's like could either be A or B. It's like it could either be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or an entirely different thing altogether. And it's like that's not.
You didn't finish it. That's not like a fun mystery ending. That's just bad storytelling.
It's just confusion.
And then, Will, do you want to explain why it was in the pretend 50s?
Oh yeah. So this I did kind of like this part, and I think Phil sort of pieced it together a bit. But like basically, we at one point we do see a flashback to Christina Ricci when she was younger. And her grandmother comes up to her and says something like Christina Ricci as a young girl is upset because I think probably over a boy, I think was what it was.
Yeah. It was a heartbreak thing.
Yeah, heartbreak thing. And she's like, I wish you were like, you had been raised at the same time as me. It's way too complicated now, you know, which I took to mean like what she wished you were raised in the 1800s. Like what? But no, what she was basically saying, I wish you were raised in the 50s. So like her idyllic, it like sort of implanted, I guess, this idea in her mind that the 50s was a more perfect time. So that's why it's all kind of 50s coded and all that stuff. And you do kind of like get like there's the pretty lady in the lake who is trying to take the young boy away is a young version of her grandmother.
Yeah.
Which I think, I was like, they're like, who, like, I think we were like, who is that lady? I'm like, I think it's the young grandmother. And then we saw a picture where it was like grandma and her car or whatever. And it was the same actress. But yeah.
Also, they never explained why her son had like weird ghost powers.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing that I was like,
Yeah.
At
but
some
not all the time.
Yeah,
No,
that
like
to
twice.
me was like to
Boom.
me that I feel like oftentimes when you see a movie with a really short running time, that means that the producers of the movie watched a cut of it, went, oh dear God, this is terrible and it doesn't make any sense. We've got to cut it down to just the action bits, and maybe we can get people to sit down and watch this thing for a little while. You know what I mean? like, and just focus on and you'll get the people who like don't really care about story and just like horror. You know what I mean? Like, let's just cut it down. So that's what when I saw the 88 minutes, I was like, oh, that's what happened. But now, having watched it, I'm like, no. They wrote a movie that was 45 minutes long, and they went, this is not a movie. What are we going to do? And they're like, one's if the boy has superpowers. It's like, I like this. Keep going.
But only twice.
And it's like, okay, he can move things with his mind. Ooh. And then what? The end.
Yeah.
Okay, great. We'll put that in there somewhere. That'll be great. We'll just do that one too.
Yeah.
You know, this movie definitely feels like something that they like. It feels like stretched out Laffy Taffy, you know?
Okay, I do want to say a positive.
Okay.
And we could end on a positive note if we wanted to.
Sure, that's fine.
So in the scene where I think it's where she first comes face to face with the pretty lady in the lake or the pretty lady in the pond.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was played out well. Like that was like decent horror. I thought the monster, creature, looked cool.
Yeah.
She was like covered in like underwater mossy shitty slime roots and gross.
Like when she walked by and it was like
unsettling.
Yeah, like there's one scene where she's like outside and she walks by and we see it like up on the roof.
Yeah,
and it's just hard enough to see that you're sort of like, is it standing still? No, that thing is moving. I don't know what it is. And I was like, oh, like that's decently creepy.
And I feel like the final reveal of it is like, or it's final reveal. It's in like the dead middle of the movie, or like the end of the second act of the movie. I guess
it looks gross. It's like a dead slime lady.
She's like unsettling and gross, and I liked that. I feel like this movie, has parts and pieces that definitely work. They definitely probably would work better in a shorter format with what's there.
Yeah.
This has bones that I like. This has like things that I like about it. I think it was a swing and a miss for me.
Yeah,
I think it was a swing and a miss for all of us, where it was like they tried on some of the things, and some of the things are good, but it just is bloated and like.
Yeah, this to me is
boring.
Is a perfect example of a movie. Like if you want to see like what a bad script is like, you know what I mean? Like that's part of the reason why I sometimes like watching bad movies more than I like good movies, because I find it harder to describe like why a good movie works without contrasting it with a bad movie. You know what I mean? And so like this movie was like very much like, oh yeah, this script is not scripting well. Like everything else, it's shot okay. Some of the lighting was a little too dramatic for my tastes. Like at one point, I'm like I think even Craig was like, "Is this a set?" I'm like, I don't think it is, but God, does it look like it?
It looks weird. It was
It
inside
did
of the
look
house.
weird, and like when you get to the end of the movie, thinking back, it's like, oh yeah, okay, it definitely was a set because none of it was real.
Well, but that's
Then
that's like not an excuse for like
yeah. So anywho,
I think.
I will say, okay, I'll just give my rating so we can get that out of the way. Oh my God, there's nothing funny. God. Oh no, I don't have anything funny.
I forgot to take notes.
I didn't take any notes.
I'll give this a 2 out of 5. And I guess mysterious ghost powers.
Yeah.
That disappear. And actually, no, how about 2 out of 5 bitchy landladies?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that, like, when she started talking, I'm like, this is not a character from the 50s. This is a present day Karen.
Yeah.
Which again is like only makes sense after you've finished the movie and you're like, oh, because she's dealing with what is obviously an insane woman.
Yeah.
Who keeps saying she has a son running around.
Yeah.
And you've never seen them.
Yeah, and she's also like driving the biggest junker car on the planet. Yeah.
So I'm going to piggyback off of what Phil said. I like the parts where it's trying to be a ghost movie. Like you are sure that, or, you know, a creature feature where something is in the lake. It is stalking this boy. The three window
bedroom.
Him under that's really creepy.
Yeah, him under the covers with it like coming and
that was another. I liked that scene a lot.
That was decently creepy.
If they would have leaned into that more, and it was more about one, don't make the kid dead. Like, let's make it more about, you know, have we seen this kind of movie before? Yes, but you could still do something different. It doesn't always have to be a trauma monster. Like, you can have a real monster.
Yeah, that is another thing that with these movies where it's like, well, it was a dream the whole time is sort of a betrayal to the people watching the movie, because you do sort of feel a little bit invested in this film and trying to understand the logic of it all. Yeah. And then when you go back to try and examine it, you're like, well, I guess it doesn't matter anyways because none of it was real. You know,
I tricked you.
I tricked you. Great. I mean, I knew none of it was real because it's a movie, but whatever.
Yeah, but now double none of it is double real.
Now it's also stupidly, I don't know. It's not my favorite trope. But I am going to give this movie, I think I'm going to go with Craig and give this 2 random father figure at a bar, stiltedly telling his lines to Christina Ricci, and she is trying her best to make this scene interesting.
Yeah, that was a weird scene.
That was a hard watch of a scene.
I mean, she was trying so hard to be flirty and like seem attracted to this guy who was just like, well, hey there, lady. It's good to see you.
I am an adult man. We are in a bar.
Wow, I'm going to get a beer. You seem to be celebrating today. Oh, you quit your job. Well, sometimes that's the thing.
Yep.
And you're just like, God, this guy sucks.
Sorry, sir. Not your best work, probably.
Oh, it might be. Anyways, Phil, what are you going to give this?
I'm also going to give this a 2 out of 5. I cut the cheese. There are 2 quotes in IMDb.
Yes.
They are both from the kid, and they are grouped together as one.
It makes it, I saw that.
And it is, I cut the cheese. And then last lines, revealing his ghostly nature. Mommy, please let me go.
It
seems like he says it in the same sentence.
Yeah.
That is not what happened. But I like it much better.
Yeah. Yep, that's that. What'd you give it? What was the point?
A 2.
It
is.
There's a perfect here. Deuce.
Yeah, there's something here, but is it worth digging for?
No, I mean, also like I think we had to rent it, right?
Yeah, it was $6.
Yeah,
I regret that.
It's absolutely not worth $6. It is maybe like you are looking to put something on, and you're a big fan of Christina Ricci and want to like see all of her work.
Yes, if you're a big fan of Christina Ricci, go ahead and watch this movie because she's pretty good in it.
Yeah, she's pretty good in it.
Yeah, she's Christina Ricci. We all love her.
Yeah. Who doesn't love her?
Get over it, everyone.
Yeah. Yes.
We love her.
So, just a few reviews from
Redbox. Do it.
Not Redbox.
Yeah, Redbox.
Yeah, let's do Redbox reviews.
Redbox reviews. It's just a guy sitting.
Oh my God. The Redbox reviews were fucking awful. If you ever, like, they don't exist anymore, but there were reviews on there because those were like salt of the earth people.
Oh yeah,
reviewing stuff
who just like didn't understand what a movie review was
anything.
at all.
Yeah. Okay. First, First review is, this is probably great if you've literally never seen a movie before.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's another good one in here. I bought a Hot Point. Wait, what? The things I do for Christina Ricci.
Yeah, I feel that one.
Oh, man. Here's a thought. How about putting Christina Ricci in a good movie? God. The only thing that was monstrous was that little boy's acting. Oh,
Okay.
I know.
Get over yourself, but not you, Craig. But get over yourself, reviewer.
I do
piece
feel
of shit.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with him though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it wasn't good, but don't be mean to the kid.
It's true.
Fucking what's the Phantom Menace kid, Jake something?
Oh yeah, okay, but that actually that is a bit of a early's internet lore or miss lore. You know what is the word? Folktale almost, like the fact that like he was super heavily bullied is not necessarily true, at least according to his mom.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, and actually,
maybe not his like. But like he exists as a human being who can read all of the terrible things that people said about him.
So Jake Lloyd actually had the reason why we don't hear about him, and it's because he's got schizophrenia. It's a lot more tragic than the internet was mean to him.
Poor guy.
Yeah. He's
damn.
Anywho, but like he was, his parents mostly sheltered him from all the negative reviews, so he didn't really like see all of that, and people just said that on the internet. They're like, he doesn't act anymore because he was so upset about how people treated him.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. That is true of the guy who played Jar Jar Binks. It's not true of the guy who
fair enough.
Did Jake Lloyd.
Again, he can still read those now, maybe.
Anakin,
that's true.
who played Jake Lloyd.
Yeah. What?
Anakin, who played Jake Lloyd.
The whole thing, this whole conversation made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, sorry.
Doesn't everything?
Yes. So it's my turn to pick a movie next.
Yeah. What are?
Oh my God.
Is it? I cannot wait to find out how you've connected a movie from this. How'd you get out of this pit? Aside from Christina Ricci,
I didn't do Christina Ricci.
Okay,
yeah, I know. You guys are like, how did he do that? So the landlady, is an actress named Colleen Camp, who's been around for a long time, long enough that she had a part in a 1985 comedy where she played a French maid. So we're gonna watch Clue.
Oh,
that's who that was.
That's what the Wikipedia says.
Oh my God!
Damn.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do Clue. That was the only thing I could think of doing. I looked through some other Chicken Soup for the Soul movies, but I thought, I don't really want to do this anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. Listen. Official apology for me for digging this hole and dropping all three of us into it.
I'm glad I'm glad when we do these, because it's kind of like, sometimes life doesn't have joy.
Yeah, It cemented my place as the wild card pick. Yeah. And also, not every movie can be good.
Yeah,
we need bad movies for good movies to be good.
I don't always like having fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to be uncomfortable while watching a movie.
Yeah.
And made doubly uncomfortable because I was making fun of the movie, and then Phil got mad at me.
I was still holding out hope that it would be somehow a gem.
I've been there. I've been there with you guys. I've been there with you guys and my wife while watching a movie.
Yeah.
Can't remember what movie. Oh, it was the what was the Christmas movie I think Craig picked? It was the apocalyptic with the teenage girls. What was the name of that movie?
Oh, that was Night of the Comet.
Night of the Comet. Yeah.
I thought we loved that.
We did.
But you guys
made fun of it.
You were making fun of it in the beginning.
We were riff tracking.
You were riff
tracking
it, and I just was sort of like, guys, I think this actually is a good movie.
Yeah, that we were like, yeah, we know.
I was like, I know, but like,
but shut up.
But shut up. I want to watch
shut
it,
up, guys.
The movie is better than the jokes you're making.
That's mostly true.
All right. I think.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you for shit. Keep this in.
Okay.
Thank you for liking and subscribing to the podcast. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. If you if you want to decide, were there even 4 characters in this that could be the Ninja Turtles?
Christina Ricci was Raphael. The kid gotta be Michelangelo.
Sure.
Okay.
Gotta be.
Who does machines?
Her boss does machines.
He does machines.
And then we just need
All
a
those
Leonardo,
machines.
which has to just be the cop, I guess.
There was a cop in this movie?
Yeah. The one at the school, yeah.
So this episode was brought to you by Willfully Woven, who is my brother Mike and my sister-in-law. If you want to help support us and hear your name shouted out on the podcast, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/mumbleandshrug. My dog is barking.
If you like what you heard, consider leaving a review on any of the platforms we're on. That's all for this episode. I'm Phil Castle.
I'm Will flipping my lid, Chodas.
And I don't remember what my name is.
There's a snake in my boot, Craig Norland.
That's close enough. Don't watch this movie.
Yeah, don't
Really. Honestly, just don't waste your time. I know I try to be positive sometimes, but don't.
No, I mean, don't even listen to this episode. Like, just skip this one. I mean, it's too late now for you.
Take the hour and a half it would have taken to watch the movie and the hour of listening to this episode, and just play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
with
do
me.
something productive with your life. Once.
No, don't do that.
For once.
No, don't do that. The world's coming to an end. Just have fun.
See, that's the thing. It isn't. That's what sucks. Is it's not coming. If that would at least be interesting.
Yeah.
But it's just slowly dying.
Yeah.
Like this outro.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Mumble and Shrug Productions.